Hey, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be doing my out-of-box review here for the RE100 Vigna-Ghina II, and I'm really glad that I decided to get this kit and review it for you guys for a couple of reasons. So as I mentioned in the unboxing, not really that big a fan of the design really in general, especially the first one. I definitely like the design of the Vigna-Ghina II more than the original, so that's why I wanted to check out this version. And I gotta say, it was a pretty fun kit to build, and I'm actually ended up being quite impressed with it, and I like it quite a bit actually. There's still plenty of aspects about the design that I don't really care for too much, but as far as just a kit is, it is really quite nice. Now, the other reason why I'm glad that I got it and decided to review it here for you guys is that it seems that it is getting a little bit of a bad rap these days, and so I'm glad that I'm able to give my 2 cents on the kit, because I feel like the negative criticism that I've seen this kit getting is not really that warranted. So let's get into it, and let me explain to you guys why I feel that way. So we'll go through everything that the kit comes with, and as always guys, huge thank you to USA Gundam Store for sponsoring the review. Do check the link to USA Gundam Store there down below. You can check out this kit or anything else there on their site and get 10% off using that coupon code there. It's all down in the video description, so check that out. So you do get this sheet of marking stickers, of which I really only used a couple of them, basically just the one on the front of the head, that green and yellow one, and then the yellow stripe part that goes around on the part of the top of the head there, and then the one here on the shield bit. Now, the one on the head and the one on the shield actually look better than I was expecting. I wasn't really expecting those to look very good at all, but they look fine. Actually, they kind of look pretty good. So those are actually pretty viable to use, like even on a painted kit, which I normally wouldn't ever use these. Just me personally, in 99% of cases I wouldn't use these on a completed painted build, but those stickers actually work out pretty nicely, and considering we don't have water slides for those, you really don't have a whole lot of choice if you really want to have this logo on there, unless you want to try hand painting that. That would be a nightmare. But as for the other ones though, they're all just caution markings and things like that, where you will have the square edge of the decal sticker very visible on this, especially on red and black. You'll definitely see that. So the rest of the caution markings probably aren't going to be looking very good. As far as the foil stickers, we got this red one here in the center of the torso. We got one for the eyes, of course, on the back of the head. We've got a shiny blue one there for the back camera. On the front camera, no sticker for that, strangely, but it is a clear blue part. There's a clear blue part for the eyes and for the top head camera there. The eyes one is covered up by the foil sticker though. On these wing bits, we've got red stickers that will make the red edge of those, otherwise they're just solid black. Back here on the backpack, we've got these little gray circles there. Kind of seem pretty insignificant, but those are also there as well. 4 of those on the inside and outside of the 2 wing bits. Down here on the foot, a little gray sticker there for the center, and then a little gray sticker there for that round circle bit. That's probably the worst looking one on there. That one doesn't really look very good at all. And then back around to the back, we've got these gray stickers which wrap around these vent parts here, this movable vents on the back of the leg. Again, very easy part to just mask if you're going to be painting this, so I'm not really too concerned about that. So before we get into the other accessories, I just want to briefly mention some of the other leftover parts that you have with this kit. You have a handful of leftover parts, most of which are not really going to be all that useful. But for example, we have the original side skirt armor, which if you preferred that, you do have that. And then the bazooka from the original kit. Very unfortunate that you don't have the full thing. It's missing these couple parts here at the top. There's a little piece that's supposed to be on the top and bottom there, down here near the end of the barrel. So really wish that those would have been included. That would have made for a nice just extra accessory to be included with this, but you could always modify that, add some different pieces on there, or just cut off the tip of that and you just kind of have a just plain bazooka there. It's a shame that those parts are missing, but you have almost a full bazooka there. That's definitely, you could definitely still get some use out of that. And then some yellow beam effect parts. So the beam effect parts for this are supposed to be pink. We have a set of pink ones, but you do also have this set of yellow ones which are just left over, which you could most certainly use if you wanted instead of the pink ones, or give these to a different kit. So let's just get into the beam sabers first. Then as for the accessories for this guy, so here is the pink blades that we have for that, and then the handles. So the handles will have a little tab on there, so you can see, so those will tab into the hands to make them nice and strong for their connection in hand there. And then if we go around to the back skirt, here is where you can store these on the kit. So you remove this part here on the center of the back skirt, and your 2 handles just plug into there. Again, just nice and securely. Just plug this back onto the back skirt, and then those are stored there. So that's also pretty nice. It's nice that you don't have those left over just hanging out to the side. You can actually plug them onto the back of the kit, and they're stored pretty nicely. You have a simple action-based connector piece here as well in black. We have the beam shield, which is the same mold as the Master Grade F91, so it's very nice, just molded in clear yellow here. This whole bit with the shield having this really weird connection to the arm is kind of goofy looking, very far out from the arm, but just remove that part there on the top, plug that back through the clear part, and then put it back on. And there's your mounted beam shield, looking pretty cool. And then I believe this is possibly a first in the RE100 line. We actually have a separate trigger finger hand, so aside from just the 2 holding hands which we have on the kit, which is the standard for RE100 kits, we have a third hand which is a trigger finger hand, so that's a really nice new addition, and that is for holding the next 2 weapons, his regular just beam rifle. This thing is pretty simple in terms of its colors, it's just black, but it has a lot of really nice detail on there if you wanted to paint this up. No sticker for the camera lens, but again, if you're going to be painting it, you can paint in all of that stuff. It's just very simple in terms of its construction. The front handle moves side to side like that, but otherwise it's just there as you see. This one also does have pegs on the handle on the left and the right side, so you can hold this in either the left or the right hand nice and securely there as well. And then his main weapon, which is very cool and new for this kit, is the shot lance. So this is just held in the hand. This one as well has pegs on the left and the right side for holding in either the left or the right hand. And it's got the double machine guns there. These 2 barrels on the top are machine guns, and then the actual lance part of that can actually come out as a projectile, I guess, so it can shoot the lance out of this as well, but that just fits into there nice and securely. You do have a seam line on this, so the front half of this has a seam on there, but it's pretty cool how the back half goes together. There's actually 2 parts of that, and then there's a little connector part in between. But honestly, I mean, this could be just a separate weapon on its own, just as a handheld thing. Very simple, just kind of javelin basically. But it's meant to be used with this. I'm not sure how easy posing is going to be with this kit with this weapon, but it's a cool looking weapon nonetheless, so I think in whatever pose you can get it in, it's gonna look cool. But let's just go through the articulation now, shall we? Now, just so I don't have to mess with it, I've temporarily removed the backpack. Let's talk about the head here. The head will go all the way up to there, which is pretty nice, and then down to there, so head articulation, pretty good. In the stomach section, you do have a little bit of movement there, but really not a whole lot, and with the backpack plugged into it, it's not going to be able to hold a forward ab crunch there. The backpack will weigh it back, unfortunately. But otherwise, just some rotation here at the waist section, of course. Going up to the shoulders, these fins, of course, will move on their own up and down like that, so you can get those in a kind of range of angles. The shoulder will pull out to the front a little bit like that, so not too bad. It's basically like a high grade kit, and then move up on its own like that as well. So if you move that up, and then you can get the arm up to only about 90 degrees because that is the extent of this shoulder joint here. But then of course, just a rotation there at the top of the arm, and the elbow joint gonna give you just about 90 degrees, which is not all that much, unfortunately. It would have been nice to maybe get a little bit more out of the elbow joint. But then the wrist is just on a ball joint there. Let's go down here to the skirt armor. So the front skirts are pretty nice. Those will move on their own, and up underneath the skirt, plenty of nice full detail there as an actual separate piece, so that looks really good. Up underneath the back skirt, I don't know how well you guys can see that, but there's some nice detail there as well. If you were to paint that, mask it off and paint that in some dark gray or something, whatever, to match the frame bits, that would also be looking nice. So straight out of the box, it's a little plain, but if that was painted up, that will end up looking very nice with the detail that you have up inside there. Same thing here for the side skirts. You have this cool vent in there, but without the inside of that vent being like a dark gray or black or whatever, it's kind of doesn't really stand out quite as much. So I know no one likes stickers, but just having little stickers to go inside those vents there, I think would have added a lot to just the overall look for people who aren't interested in painting the kit. And the hip joint is on a track that will allow you to slide that forward and back a little bit, so that's nice for a little bit added articulation there. Out to the side, the legs can get a full spread there, so no problems with that. You've got rotation there at the top of the thigh as well. Get those front skirts out of the way, you can end up getting the leg all the way up to there, which is more than 90 degrees, so that's a pretty good extent for that. And then the bend here in the knee, just a single joint is just going to give you about 90 degrees like that, maybe a little bit more than 90 degrees. Again, wish that was maybe a little bit more, but it's not all too bad. And again, nice details inside there. So on the knee joint, you do at least have some nice detail. Once that's painted up, that's going to be looking really cool. These little vents on the front also looking really cool. The nice color separation with those, the black on the knee and the black for the front of there. And as we saw before, these little vents on the back of the leg, 3 of those will move independently on their own like that. This little flap here at the bottom will also move a little bit up and down like so. And then on the front, this flap will also move up and down a little bit as well. One of the aspects that I dislike the most about this kit is this particular part here. It just doesn't look like it fits in with the overall shape of the leg at all, for me personally. Anyway, the ankle can move side to side a bit like that, forward up to there, and then back all the way down to there. Kind of cool how you have this detail in the ankle armor that's just like those hoses there, and those fit into the back of the foot. When you have that forward, you can see there's a gap between those, but when you move that back like that, it looks like those pipes feed right down into the foot like that, which is pretty cool. Oh, also a little sticker here for this gray bit at the back of the foot is the sticker as well. Up underneath the feet though, nice full detail there, no hollow gaps or anything. So again, painting this in, or at least doing some panel lining to bring out all the details, will make this look much better. As far as the backpack, the wing bits can be angled to the side a little bit like that. I do kind of wish you could have maybe got those a little bit farther, but that's the extent of that. It can also be, of course, rotated forward and back, so you got some articulation there, and then they bend like this to basically, I've heard on the wiki, I've heard from people saying that this is supposed to mimic the VSBR of the F91 Gundam, so I don't know if these are actually cannons out of there. If you guys know for sure, then let me know. But the motion or like the look of this is supposed to mimic the VSBR, but I haven't seen for sure if those are actually supposed to be weapons or thrusters is just kind of part of the backpack. But anyway, these bits here do also move, kind of like with the back of the legs. You can angle those, you can change those independently like that, those two little bits for that. And again, nice color separation with the black bits here pointing out of the red. One thing though, just be very careful about these thrusters here in the center of the backpack, as if you touch those wrong, those can fall out very easily. Alright, then for a little comparison, here it is with the Masquerade F91 Gundam. Obviously not going to be as intricate or detailed or color separated as a Masquerade, but still, I think they still look nice. I mean, the Vigna-Ghina does have a good amount of detail. If anything, it probably has a little bit more surface detail than the Masquerade F91. Of course, it just doesn't have the complexity of the Masquerade F91, which is a pretty complex and very nicely color separated kit. Compared to a standard size mobile suit there from the Universal Century, they're looking a little bit on the small side. So as you guys can see regarding the articulation, it's kind of a mixed bag. It's pretty good, I think, overall. It's not quite as nice as what we've seen from even some of the nicer, newer HG kits. Obviously, it's not going to be on the level of a Master Grade because the RE line is just not meant to be Master Grade quality. But overall, I think the articulation is perfectly enough to get plenty of cool poses out of the kit, so that won't really be an issue. As far as the details on it look great. The stickers, it is a little bit sticker heavy. There are a good amount of stickers on it, but I feel like the majority of the stickers are bits that could be pretty easily painted up just by masking, so really not that big of a deal if you want to end up painting the kit. The masking for it, if you want to go for complete accuracy, won't be all that bad. And there's weapons, I think, really cool. Beam sabers, are just kind of pretty standard. Even the handles for the beam sabers are kind of interesting, so those are at least making them a little bit more interesting than just your standard Gundam beam sabers. But then we also have the beam shield, also really cool, and then just the beam rifle. Not really all, I mean, it's just a standard beam rifle, but it is nicely detailed anyway. And then the shot lance, a really cool, unique weapon that this has. So the weapons loadout that it has is actually pretty cool and pretty unique as well. And then just one more point regarding the build quality of it. This kit pretty much has nothing in the way of seam lines on it, so that is one thing that a lot of the RE kits have had in the past. While some have had a couple of more seam lines than others, a lot of them have been very minimal in terms of the seam lines, and that is really appreciated, especially if they're kind of kits that you want to paint up. It just means that it's less prep work that you have to do before getting them ready for painting. Pretty much anywhere on this kit where it would be a seam, it's just given as a panel line instead, so they just kind of cover that up pretty well. Pretty much the biggest negatives of this kit are just going to be completely subjective ones. If you're not really a big fan of the design, then obviously it's not going to be very appealing for you. It's got a lot of red on there, and I feel like in some certain areas, just that bright shade of red that this plastic is in, it does kind of drown out the details a little bit, especially on the head. I feel like the head, it's really kind of hard to make out the nice details that it has on there just because it's just looks like just kind of a solid chunk of red basically. But of course the obvious answer, if you're not a big fan of the particular color that a mobile suit is molded in straight out of the box from Bandai, is that you could just paint it yourself in a different color. And then as far as the design, like I said at the very beginning of the review, there's plenty of aspects about this design that I don't care for at all either, so I'm probably going to end up doing some modifications to this kit, changing some parts and things like that before it's all said and done to make the design more appealing to me. So for a completely objective critique of this kit, I think this kit is perfectly good. I was actually really quite impressed with it and very happy with how it ended up coming out. I'm really looking forward to working on this sometime later in the future. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. And again, thank you to USA Gundam Store for sponsoring the review. Thank you to you guys all for watching, and hope you all have a great day. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.